Regular meeting. Area School District Board of Education to order. Wait for that, right? But no. Yeah. All right, we'll start with roll call.
Bo Schrader.
Here.
Janet Mathis. Here. Earl Wallace.
Here.
Rich Stevens.
Yes.
Isaac Wallace.
Here. Next, we have the application publication on the agenda.
I, Kimberly Johnson, hereby certify that notice of the Kickapoo Area School District March 11th, 2026 regular school board meeting was published in accordance with state law.
And get a motion to approve the agenda. I will so move. I'll second. Earl, second by Bo, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, we'll move on to audience, to visitors and board members. Let's go with student council.
My name's Chloe.
I'm Lane.
And we're both members of the student council in the high school. We're both juniors. And we're just kind of going to be summarizing what's going on in the middle school, high school. For middle school math, the 6th and 7th graders have just completed the mid-module assessments for module 4 of their respective grade levels. They will complete the module before they begin preparing for the forward exams in early April. The Spanish 8 students are growing comfortable speaking to one another in a language that is new to most of them. We have learned how to greet others and express feelings. Since this is only a 9-week course, we stick to the basics of days, numbers, months, colors, foods, parts of the body, as well as descriptions of our classroom and surrounding areas. For high school tech ed, they have been working on woodworking projects such as bow and arrow holders, tables, chairs, and signs to donate for the Viola Sportsman's Club banquet. And the Powers class have been working on some zero-turn mowers and golf carts. For high school math, we have been focusing on moving through the appropriate math curriculums as well as incorporating some ACT prep. The high school math team had their twin conference math contest earlier this evening, and we had 24 participants, which is possibly the most that we've ever had. And the results haven't been in yet, but they will be coming. For junior class, they've just been working on preparing for junior prom, which is on April 18th, and the theme is A Night on the Bayou.
The senior class just wrapped up their cookie dough fundraiser and is now turning its focus on planning the senior trip, senior tea, and graduation. Forensics, get ready to cheer. Our phenomenal forensics team crushed sub-district contest for speech on February 9th, and we're sending 6 amazing students to the next level. Huge congratulations to Brogan Carey, Haley Henderson, Genesee Souza, Wendy Kelly, Madeline Smith, and Sage Bork for advancing to the district forensics competition. They'll be bringing their talent to West Salem High School on March 12th. Wish them luck. Middle school leadership. In partner with the high school student council, we are working on setting up activities for Mental Health Day on Wednesday, April 1st. Future plans include coordinating the middle school spring dance, 8th grade graduation ceremony, and the end of the year incentive day trip for the middle school. Physical education. We are in a ping pong unit, and we are also working on our spring training, playing wiffle ball and fitness testing. In the next few weeks, we'll get into an archery unit as well as another swimming unit. Work study / apprenticeship. With the conclusion of CTE month at the end of February, we had the honor to recognize the hard work of all our current work study / youth apprenticeship students. We currently have 11 students enrolled in our youth apprenticeship and 9 students are enrolled in work study.
Thank you, guys. Any questions for our student council? All right, We have-
Guys don't have to stay, you know.
See you guys.
You know.
Next time, Ashley White.
Hello and good evening. I appreciate the opportunity to share a brief introduction, and I look forward to learning by listening and observing this evening. My name is Ashley White, running for the at-large write-in position to sit alongside all of you on the 7th. My background is in people, process, and program management within the dairy industry, and I've been with Organic Valley for going on 11 years in June. And throughout my career, I focused on collaboration, engagement, continuous improvement efforts, a lot of staff development and strong communication, really while driving end results. A huge focus on data and getting things over the finish line. As an alumni myself, and while my daughter is now the 6th generation from our family to reside in our district, I do care deeply about our school and the communities that it serves. I'm committed to listening, learning, and working together to address the needs of our students, our families, and our staff. My goal would always be to support environments where every student has the opportunity to thrive and every voice always feels heard. So I appreciate your time today. And as well as your service to our district, I look forward to meaningful conversations about how we continue strengthening our school and our community together. So please feel free to reach out and contact me anytime. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to expense receipts. Any discussion?
I think if there's any questions, I guess I'll make the motion that we approve. That was just received. I'll second it.
By Janet, second by Earl, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Right, move on to our consent agenda. The consent agenda tonight, there's a lot. We have the meeting minutes from the February 11th regular board meeting, minutes from the March 2nd buildings and grounds and transportation meeting, minutes from the March 2nd special meeting. We have one retirement, Sam Gary, resignation from Vicky Olson, and information about the senior trip to Wisconsin Dells, a Wisconsin school violence evaluation report, and a number of donations. Doug Kugler, $500 for the spec ed department, Lily Mary, $800 for the music program, and from Patricia Schroeder, $200 for the music program. Any motions to approve the consent agenda?
And also E Phillips is looking to donate the solar panels to the track shed if it goes through.
That was on, okay, so that'd be a part of the donations as well.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion. Second.
All right, motion by Bo, so by Janet, in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Into our action agenda. All right. Number 7A, we have water requests for bids.
And we have Allison online, right, Allison?
Yep. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. So I did send out to 4 separate audit companies for requests for bids, and we got one bid back from Johnson and Block. Johnson and Block is our current audit firm that we go with, so I was very glad that they did send us a bid. The costs are going up from when we sent out our last request for proposals. In 2026, it's increasing just under $7,000 from what we were quoted to pay for this past fiscal year audit. And I know they do have the little caveat in there, like it might increase slightly if there's extra work, things like that that need to be done. When we went out to bid 3 years ago, they quoted that we would have to pay $19,900 for our 24-25 audit. We have actually paid $500 more than that, so $20,400. Yeah, otherwise, I mean, this was unfortunately the only bid that we got back, so there's not a whole lot of competition in it, but I am very thankful that we did get a bid back because it's been a big topic of conversation between business managers in the CISA about getting any type of bids, especially someone that's local and actually having the auditors on site. I know that there are some school districts that the auditors never step foot on the school property. It's completely done online virtually, and they never even see their auditor face to face.
We talked about that at CISA too, that in some of the schools that are down in like very southern part of the state are going like to firms out of Chicago and different parts of Illinois and things just because they get no bid. So we're, like she said, we're fortunate we got a bid and very fortunate that it was Johnson and Block that we know that, you know, they send people that are knowledgeable about Wisconsin schools. So.
What our districts like by doing it for the last
Yeah.
3 years, so.
And this will be for another 3 years then?
Yes, this would lock us in for 3 more years with them.
I'll make a motion to accept the bid from Johnson and Block for these next 3 years for the audit.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Janet, second by Earl. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thanks, Allison.
Thank you.
All right, next up is the makeup for future snow days.
Yeah, so we just wanted to be prepared. As we're getting down there with snow days, we used 3 out of the 4. Looking at potentially Monday, but we already have a schedule for us, so that's a bonus.
Just so we're all clear, and I said this to Kim before, she put 2 days off last year when she made the schedule. That would have been snow days. So I think she might be a witch.
You can call that today.
See, a year ahead of time, she's taking days off. We're gonna be snow days. That ain't right.
But anyway, should we use this last day, then additional days, we were looking at taking that Monday after Easter to replace potentially when we're done with our snow days and we need to make up days, instead of putting them at the end of the year, we would use the day after Easter.
All right. You need to approve that.
Do we need to approve that? Yeah.
For a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the future snow days if need be and however it works out, I guess.
Well, if we need to use it, we'll come the day after Easter.
Now we got a motion.
Oh, second.
Second, all right, so motion by Earl, second by Janet. All in favor for the makeup snow day, it's April 6th.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Right, we'll move on to C. 5136 communication devices revision.
Yeah, we wanted to bring this in front of the board because we made a few adjustments. Our existing policy already requires that students' devices be powered off and stored out of sight during instructional time. And administration has been implementing that expectation by directing students to store phones in their lockers during the school day to ensure consistency and minimize distraction during, instruction. During a recent situation, questions were raised regarding whether the precise location expectation, specifically the locker, was clearly articulated within our written language of the handbook and the board policy. So while administration had been consistently communicating this expectation through announcements and school procedures, it was determined that adding explicit language regarding locker storage would remove any potential ambiguity. So as a result, the handbook and the policy language will be updated to explicitly state that personal communication devices must be stored in student lockers during instructional time unless otherwise authorized by staff. Additionally, Wisconsin recently enacted their 2025 Act 42, which talks about requiring school districts to adopt policies prohibiting this use of communication devices during instructional time by July 1st of 2026. And our current expectations already limit their phone use during instructional time. So this clarification about specifically putting into the locker helps ensure our language aligns with our direction and with state law. This adjustment actually does not change our expectations or our current practice. It simply ensures that written policy clearly defines the procedures already in place to support instructional focus and consistent implementation across the school. So kind of a background as to what's going on with that policy and what we're doing with it.
Yeah, and we just talked this at the policy committee meeting in complete agreement that it only makes sense to make it crystal clear so everybody understands the rules.
All right, any other discussion on the education device? All right, if none, we get a motion to approve the revisions in the policy.
Make a motion to.
I-
Move the fee and.
I can second it.
All right, so a motion by Earl, second by Rich. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Right. We'll move on to the digital sign.
So the digital sign actually went before the Building and Grounds Committee with all of the information. The power of the sign, the power for the sign is already there from the existing sign. We plan on using the one brick pillar that is closest to Viola for the sign. And then the other brick pillar, Krings' crew shop crew will destruct that. So they'll be removing that. There's, let's see. Alan Greeley is the quote that was accepted, and he has agreed to contact the OT, contact the Village of Viola, and take care of all kind of the busy work of establishing this digital sign. He did give us a new quote and made a donation himself. We have raised $22,260 through donations and would like to use the $10,000 donation from Organic Valley to bring us to complete funding opportunity to get the digital sign. So the Building and Grounds had decided that it was time to make this move. We had enough of the funding to cover the sign, and it is indeed needing an update. So we'd like to bring that to the board for final approval.
Yes, I just want to clarify, I don't think we didn't make a decision that this was approved. The conversation was that there's some new information, we have additional funding available now. The existing sign sounds like there's issues in disrepair that needs to be either fixed or replaced. And then I think the funding, from Organic Valley just seemed like we can have three different sources or three different things that changed since the last time this came to the board, and felt like this was appropriate to bring back in front of the board now, a year or so later.
So did we ever get a quote from any other company? I thought we saw one once, but I didn't
Yeah.
look back.
BL sign never got one back to.
Oh,
Maybe I know that. That's
We
what.
did last year, but yeah, he never did give us a
They
final
don't, yeah,
quote.
they're supposed to get it back from within a week or two and they never had. And then, well, we had one back a year ago, whenever from the lacrosse, which was.
Yeah, I remember that.
Astronomical, so.
Yeah.
And this one is up, I don't know. About, I can't remember, it's about $100 or so from what originally a couple hundred, 1,000, but.
Your Organic Valley donation is fortunate, it's kind of.
Yeah.
Levels enough. And I
Yes, I think it
not
was
seen that
29,000 in that
level
organic
of
valley,
It's on top.
right?
He wrote it up there on top of his.
Oh,
But yeah, except he said 24 and we only raised 22, but yeah.
But it also mentioned that Organic Valley had the total donations.
29,000 some dollars from them, so.
Ten will report to.
But it's, we still got something back, so that's why as a buildings ground, we thought we'd take and do that.
When,
So
when will they do this?
this spring, hopefully.
Yeah, as soon as we pay it down the deposit, we will-
Once the project
Yeah.
gets. so-
once he gets the deposit, so it would be like, I think, what was it, 6 weeks? And they could start.
But as long as he's checking with DOT and everybody, make sure, that was one of the
Yep.
specifications to make sure we're.
Yeah.
Not too infringing too close to the road. If we have to move back some or whatever, but I mean. At least that way.
The only feedback he had for me as far as DOT was no flashing and no scrolling. But he would communicate again, but that was the initial information I think provided.
Go through it, small. Makes sense.
All right.
Press.
Any other questions on the easel sign?
And so I'll make a motion that we go forward with the purchase of and install of the new sign.
I'll second it.
Right, got a motion by Earl, second by Bo. And using the money from organic,
Specifically.
And our.
all right, we have a motion as noted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
First message you put up there is thank you to our.
Yeah. All right, next item is the ethos signage on the truck shed.
So the ethos signage is, an off-grid solar lighting solution for the track shed to improve the visibility and functionality without the cost of running electrical service to the building. The local partner Ethos has offered to assist with the project by providing the solar panel, the mounting equipment, the wiring, and the installation labor. The system would connect to a portable power station that the district would purchase, allowing the solar energy to charge the unit and power lighting within the shed. The district's cost would be limited to purchasing the portable power bank, approximately $329, and installing the lighting, the interior lighting, while Ethos supplies the rest of the system. The proposed setup would be capable of powering several LED lights for evening use. Ethos, however, how do you say that?
I think it's the.
Ethos has also requested permission to install signage recognizing the project and would like to collaborate on a press release highlighting the partnership once the installation is complete. So I do have a picture of what that signage would be.
They're looking at putting a smaller sign by the door, walking into it on the east side, that, it's not a big thing on the west side. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
That was what we brought to the board, because we didn't,
There.
Yes, that's what I.
yeah, we didn't wanna have a big sign out there saying and.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I think they can drive it.
and help us see it.
No, I think that's very reasonable.
Yeah, I thought it was
I
really
wondered
nice.
Too, what?
Yeah.
Oh, we were-
I thought it was a
Cover
great-
the whole side.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, so hurry up.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll make that motion.
Second, All right, got a motion by Bo, second by Earl. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, on to new playground equipment.
So we have been talking about, the need to replace our playground equipment at the top. And we have had a very generous donation to, fund this, particular, playground equipment in full. So the district would be looking at, purchasing a couple of benches and the wood chips underneath, and the wood chips are part of the Lee Griffin, which would be already kind of funded. It's on a rotation. So the donor would like to fund the entire play system that would go on top of the hill in. So a donor for the play set up on top of the hill. I guess we're looking for approval for the play set. The shop kids would actually be installing and setting it up. The play set itself would not get here until June. So Mr. Crames is hoping to run like a summer school class and bring in the kids, which would also benefit us for student count.
Any other discussion? We just need to approve, accept the donations that essentially what we have to approve. Benches, well, what do we have to do?
The request was they would fund this play set in its entirety, but would like to have benches, which I guess we can bring back later, like the price of the benches or what kind of benches. But the donation comes with that request that there would be 2 benches up there. And I think that we can do that very reasonable, but at this point, we don't have a price for benches. So it would be just approving the play set and the donation, I guess.
So this, just to be clear, is this an anonymous donation?
At this point, yes.
I'll make the motion that we accept the donation. Obviously, the benches, I think that we should move that right now because obviously, if we had the choice, we would pay for benches over the playground. So we'll just do that right now. We'll approve that full supply of benches. Make the motion.
I'll second that.
All right, motion by Bo, second by Janet. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, move on to a 26-27 school month.
So this also went to the Building and Grounds Committee. And the recommendation is that we move forward with the purchase of a 26 model bus in order to continue our planned replacement rotation. Maintaining this cycle keeps our fleet reliable and helps position the district to qualify for the high cost transportation aid, which helps offset transportation costs. It also allows us to replace buses while they still hold value. Recently, Jeff sold bus 10 for, I think he said 32,000. And another bus for like 29, which helps offset the cost of these new buses. And when we maintain our newer fleet, we are able to capture that resale value rather than keeping buses until they have very little market value. Continuing this rotation helps avoid large replacement spikes in the future and keeps our maintenance costs manageable. ensures we can provide reliable transportation for our students. So for these reasons, the committee, and I guess we are feeling that the replacement schedule with the 2026 model bus is a responsible approach.
I do have a question. I don't know if Allison's still on, because she may be the one who would know the answer to this. So what did we get for high cost transportation aid last year? And did it actually pay for a bus? Because that's one of those kinds of aid where they appropriate a certain amount of money. In some years, we've gotten really fortunate because other districts haven't had as much. We transport a lot of miles, and a lot of kids, a lot of miles compared to some other districts. So some years we get really fortunate, other years, because more people qualify and apply, get less. So do we know how we compared last year or have? This year?
I did get, although we don't know what that will be this year, but we have a kind of historically, in 2021, we received 56,685. In 21-22, we received 100,383. In 22-23, it was 106,848. In 23-24, it was 129,227. And in 24-25, it was 152,673. So.
Yep.
I
So that would have, and I
to-
vaguely remember what we paid last year. That would have covered.
Covered.
The entire bus, basically, which, and it doesn't always, it doesn't have to. I just want to make sure we hadn't got to that point where, because of cost of buses going like this and aid being like
Right.
unpredictable, basically. No, that looks good.
Yeah, I thought those were good numbers too.
Thanks.
I think Jeff had walked us all through too, how like the overall cost of ownership has actually been fairly flat.
Yeah.
Despite the cost going up because he's getting more out of them, the cost of ownership's actually stayed about the same.
Get rid of them earlier, we get.
Yeah, and there was something about the insurance was advantageous that way too, so.
And then you have to worry about inspection place ahead.
Oh, yeah, and that's a
That's
big problem.
I mean, one of the buses that Crawford bought or whatever
Yes.
that, I
They
don't know
had,
how they got it through inspection or him.
they did some work on it after they took it, but. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, we saw
And
one
we've been
in Crawford that they
flying
put the money into because they had to get it to pass the inspection. They needed it. Yeah.
Right.
And those other two we sold on Wisconsin surplus and did really well. But they're maintained.
Well, yeah, that's just it. He definitely doesn't pay them up and so.
So, it was good, even though the price seemed higher.
Nothing's going down.
What goes up, let's come down, thing doesn't seem to work.
Nothing's going down.
We have two quotes in the packet, but I think he was fine with the
2026 one, yeah.
It's cheaper, 135, 367.
Oh,
So we're looking for a motion to approve the 2026 bus. The purchase in July.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Earl, second by Bo. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries, and moving into our informational agenda. We have two discussion items here. Starting with 26-27 insurance.
So just really a quick update as to where we are with insurance planning, because I'm sure you're curious. This would be for a July 1st renewal cycle. For the health plan, our preliminary projections indicate an increase of approximately 8.7 for next year. The primary driver of that increase is claim severity during the 2025 year. In a smaller district like ours, with the majority of our current enrollment being family plans, we only have 5 employee only participants. Even a handful of high cost claims can shift the overall results really quickly. One positive piece of this picture is that last year, Allison and I were able to secure a 2-year stop loss rate lock. And that decision is actually protecting the district from what could have been a much larger increase this cycle and is projected to avoid about 80,000 in additional stop loss costs next year. It's also given us that time to evaluate the structure of our plan thoughtfully rather than reacting to 1 year of claims experience. As part of this review, we are working with the Insurance Center to model several possible approaches, including some plan design adjustments such as 80-20 coinsurance structures, benchmarking our plan against our surrounding districts, premiums, reviewing our enrollment structure. Those are some of the things that we're looking at. I will also note that insurance costs are a topic across the region right now. We discussed this at our recent PAC meeting and on my Vernon County Superintendent meeting. Many districts are having very similar conversations. Some districts have had favorable claims. Well, actually only one that I know of. Yeah. Most are preparing for these increases. A few are even exploring switching carriers and would love to move to a self-funded model. In addition to our health plan, we are preparing for the July renewal of our dental and vision plans. The current dental provider has proposed a 15% increase, largely due to high utilization. Because of that, we have initiated a request for proposal process to solicit competitive bids from multiple carriers to ensure we are receiving the best value for our staff and the district. As part of that process, we are also asking carriers to price a few potential options so we can understand what is available in the market before making any decisions. At this stage, we are still in the information gathering and modeling phase, and no decisions have been made. Once we receive the modeling results and the dental proposals, we will bring the information back to the board for discussion before any recommendations are made. I think our next insurance center meeting is in April. Due to the length of time, they really need to pull in some more data, specifically the February data. Our goal is simply to remain proactive and ensure that we are continuing to provide strong benefits for the staff while maintaining long-term financial stability for the district. So our goal is simply to stay ahead of it and to make thoughtful decisions instead of reactive ones.
So do we have a timeline? Because like you said, with the July 1st renewal, and then Janice, I believe, was often invited at toward the end of the school year so that staff, may get a chance to communicate to staff. So when do these plan designs, I think we need to work backwards because I think this is March.
Right.
The board needs to be involved pretty quickly.
And we're kind of waiting.
Bring it,
Yeah.
we're gonna, I think that the board has to be involved. So do we have a timeline when they need these plan changes so that they can be implemented for July 1st?
Well, the insurance center is kind of leading this, and
Right,
they're,
so they have to tell us when
Right.
they need this so that it can be implemented by July 1st. Do we
Well,
have a date?
Well, April, we're meeting with the insurance center
April.
because that's when they deemed it was important because they needed to bring all of the data forward so that decisions can be made. So Allison and I will meet with the insurance center in April.
Do you have a date? I mean, we can't wait till the end of April. We have a board meeting in April, then
I
a
know,
board
but
meeting in May.
we're communicating with the insurance center and they're saying in April. That's what we're getting from them.
Okay.
So
But as soon as you get a date, we need to know. The board needs to, it's time for the board to be involved in this. There are some of those changes that could be very drastic, and I don't think it's fair to wait and say, in May, we're going to come to you, and then in May, by the end of May, we're going to tell staff. So, I mean, and we can have a special meeting or something, but I think it's time that the board get involved in this planning.
I understand that, but we can only bring as much information as the insurance
But
center.
you can bring it as you get it.
But that's all I have.
Well, I think we got to be a little careful here because I've been looking at these last 3 years and to say an 8.7% increase, I don't recall what they told us for a percent of increase, from last year to this year even. But, in the fiscal 24-25 year, so the year that ended last July, we ended up with a total cost of 1.055 million. And at halfway through, and this would be just what they paid what we paid by the end of December, we were at 604,000. And that's not going to be halfway through the year because of the run out stuff. So if you double that, and I didn't look back, I guess I should have, to see if half and half even is appropriate there, but I don't think that's even halfway. And that'd be 1.2 million. And I mean, so we're up over $100,000, close to 50, and I think you can say percentage on these things, but even just the stop loss premiums went up a lot more than that last year. And part of that is because we have more people. But that's the thing, is the dollars are there. And where are we going to get these dollars from? So I discourage you to keep the board informed, and we need to have board discussion on this. Except we know we also have a problem in that area too, and it might as well be right out there. We have to consider a premium. That's one of the few things that you listed other than the 80-20, and I'm not sure exactly how that would work either, but that would actually give us a predictable amount of revenue flow to offset some of this cost. Some of the other things may or may not work and will be really hard to quantify. I'm not sure what kind of plan changes we were looking at. I mean, it is possible that some of those might produce a very quantifiable amount of revenue too. But in looking at that, we have right now a 6-member board with no real hope. I guess some hope maybe that we can get to 7 members soon, but right now we have a 6-member board. And unfortunately for them, unfortunately right now for us, 3 of those members are on our insurance plan and cannot participate in this decision. That makes it pretty hard, but I think we need to, and that's one of the other reasons we need to get board educated on this. I will talk to, I don't know, I will have to look. I mean, I can, as a board member, request a special meeting where we can discuss this, and it'd be nice to work something out where we could do that as soon as you find things out in April, because if we need to make some changes. I mean, and I budget last month, and
I mean, I think the insurance center absolutely knows that, and we know that as the admin team. And we're just trying to strategize the best ways to do that, and needing that data from the insurance center is what they need before we can put together any legitimate plan, I guess.
I think we can talk about things without having complete data. I think sometimes you just have to get some opinions out there, especially implementing premiums, which virtually every other school does, is something that's going to be hard to do. It's a hard enough board decision when you have a whole board to be able to make that decision. And now we have basically half a board that has to make that decision. And I think it moves us to get some discussion going as to, if there's not a stomach for that, where are the funds going to come from? Not for just next year, but the following year, where are we going? We have put this off a long time, and I don't have a big good stomach for it either, but I think sometimes we just have to realize that, we're getting an extra $400,000 each year, but last year's was fun like that. And it looks like from the budget, looking at this year, it's the same way. Where are we going to be in 2 years when there's not an extra 400,000? I think we need a plan to make this insurance, whatever it is, sustainable into the future.
I agree to need a discussion. I just question, does it make any sense to have the discussion if we have the information? I mean, I hear that.
If there's absolutely no stomach on this board to implement premium, it pays to have that discussion. And again, there's
We have to
only,
know the option before we can discuss it.
you can't discuss it. Let's be blunt. You can't discuss it. Bo can't discuss it. Scott can't discuss it. So it would be nice if we don't have to make the decision till after April, where we should get the board members, not to put Ashley on the spot, but that will at least be able to participate. I also don't know, and maybe Kim does, whether the discussion of the plan design is something that can be done in closed session. It may have to be done in open session. I don't know, you know, there's not the individual, like we're not going to be talking about an individual employee or anything. We used to be able to say competitive and bargaining, but we don't bargain the insurance thing anymore. I don't believe. I think that was one of those things you don't bargain. Maybe Andy even knows that.
My recollection from the 9 years on the school board is when we talked about insurance and different plans, it was all in open.
That's kind of what I thought.
That was never anything we ever talked about in closed. I will say this, and this, having been the union president for however long before I was no longer, the staff, and you can talk about this, Aaron, you guys have probably had it. Everybody, the discussion has been had and it's been brought up that we've been really lucky not to have to pay premium. So that it's not like that is going to blindside people to say that if that is a decision that the board comes to, or fiscally, whatever, and Allison and Kim and you guys come to, it's not like it's going to be, oh my God, where did this come from? Because I had that conversation and I said it this spring when Janice came and I said, we haven't paid premium forever because of, and I was trying to point out the fact to take advantage of the things that Janice brought to go to the family clinic, that could change. And I said that, and that's not my place, but I have enough experience with insurance and other things that I just shared that I said that may not last forever. And the longer you do these things, the longer this will go without you having to do it. But I don't know how anybody can look at anything on the news and not realize that something's probably going to change. So my point is if anybody is blindsided,
It shouldn't be.
I don't know how they
And
could.
I would say too, that Janice has presented at the beginning of the year for a number of years and has also commented that would at some point come to an end. And we pushed it as far as we could. And I think that's kind of the understanding of the staff, like it's unexpected. And when you look at round, which is part of that benchmarking that the insurance center will bring to the table too. And then like our PAC meetings, and we've started a shared document to understand where everybody else and what they're providing as an insurance benefit to staff. So just bringing all of that data to the table and defining what ours is going to look like to meet our financial goals, but to also continue a benefit to the staff.
Well, obviously, we're going to provide insurance, but we also have to be aware of where that makes us end up financially. We don't do anybody any favors by not being able to stay solvent, so.
Well, can I just recommend, I mean, the April board meeting is early in April. I think it's the 8th, whatever it is.
Yeah, it is very.
That Kim find out when she's meeting or when her and her team are meeting with the insurance center. And then after that, they need a week, 2 weeks, whatever, to put together a coherent recommendation. And then we have a special meeting like you recommended, Janet.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea and plan it for later in April. Actually, we used to have a second meeting in April quite often and bring the new board members in if we check what the date would be when new board members are seated. New board members in April, at the end of April, like we used to do.
Yeah.
And have a board meeting. Have a special board meeting and that way you have, because it's going to take some time to discuss and you know, tonight's agenda went very well, even though it looked very long, it went really quickly, but you can't always count on that and you have this agenda and I think that's a good idea, Rich, and we can plan that for later in April.
Yeah, because I mean, and hopefully the insurance center, obviously they need their data also to be able to talk intelligently to our administration. That hopefully that's relatively early in April, and then it gives our team time to put something together and third or fourth week in April, we have a discussion.
Yeah, however, I'm not really looking for administration to bring a recommendation and say this is what it should be. I think there should be at least one scenario in there that is, here's a realistic premium. This is what it would be for whatever those different plans are. And
Yeah, I'm sorry.
the
I should have said
alternative
courses
and
of
what we're
action.
gonna get, so. I'm sorry, what, Rich?
No, I'm sorry. I should have said courses of action, vice recommendation.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good way to move forward, so.
All right, move on to question item 2, for safety class for summer school.
Yeah, so this is new, update on regarding well, I guess it is, it's gone through, Mr. Martin has been trained. We have 20 students who are interested in taking a hunter safety class this summer for summer school. We will have 2 one-week sessions, and there are 10 students per session. Contacted neighboring districts to better understand how their programs are structured. And the DNR has the curriculum, and they offer, what's the official language of those, the
Hunter safety certificate or the like.
the rifle,
Oh,
the like the training.
training, yeah.
training.
So they bring those, they bring a trailer,
Yep. Trailer, and they have guns, but they can't fire.
Right.
Just so the kids can identify the parts and know how to put the safety.
so no firearms would be
Right.
allowed on district, but they do provide their training,
Guns.
whatever they are. So just information for you that is a new class that will be offered. I think it's a great opportunity for our students to be able to have this hunter safety opportunity, and grateful that James has been willing to get trained and bring it to Kickapoo.
It was James.
Martin.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Art's been in step for quite a while.
We have a couple new people for summer school classes this year. But I think, is that next month or May?
So does this, the sportsman club has offered under safety or whatever it was called for many, many years. So does this replace what they do?
No, it would be in addition to it. The difficult part, when James originally had brought this up as an idea, it was like, I guess he really hadn't thought of it, and he brought it up. It gets really difficult for a lot of our kids to get into those courses. They offer them a couple times a year. Ashley, maybe you could even speak on this with your own kid. Reagan, I'll speak on mine, has been very active in everything hunting, and she was really not ever able to take the hunter safety course until last year, because there's so many things going on.
Yeah.
And they offer it at a time, and if you miss one, you're out. And so for so many of our kids that are in the same exact boat, they can't get to go, and they don't get to go. So when James brought this up of, okay, it's in school, it's a week of summer school, you can go, it's like, that's a great fit. I really feel it will get a lot more kids. It's not going to take away from them with kids, but I think it'll get a lot more kids involved that, okay, this time works for me. I can actually do it and get involved. And just to see the amount of interest with it when he first talked is great. I mean, there's 20 kids, and some of them probably would do something else, but let's be real, they're not taking another class. This is 20 kids that are taking specifically this class.
There's fishing at the same time.
They'll switch,
So
they'll alternate. But
They may, and we'll have the summer school coordinator have to figure all that out. Thank you.
so, but yeah, to your point, Janet, it's not going to take away anything. It's just gives another option to some kids that can hopefully get it taken and get it. And it's a summer school, reimbursement for us, and give an opportunity to allow us to do it here. So hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, it does.
All right, Dan's report.
Okay, so like I mentioned before, I had attended the 6 to 3 pack meeting. At that PAC meeting, there were representatives from Focus on Energy presenting information on available incentives and energy efficiency programs. So took away a couple ideas that we could potentially look into, should we need or be in that position. Also had the opportunity to meet the new incoming president of Southwest Technical College. He was phenomenal. He was really great. There was kind of some bantering going back and forth between the Bears and the Packers, though. He's a Bears fan. The superintendent Cracker Barrel session provided us some valuable time for collaboration. We specifically spoke on health insurance. So all of the different districts were able to share kind of where they were at, what they were looking to do, some of the struggles that they too were facing. So that will be an ongoing conversation. A team from Kickapoo attended the CISA 3 AI session with Tony Frontier. So we have administrative team, the IT leadership, and then 2 staff members who are exploring that administrative leadership pathway attended. That session was establishing some guiding principles and action steps to ensure that the AI tools are implemented thoughtfully in ways that support the teaching and learning, keeping that focus. The goal of this work then is to build district capacity to ensure that our AI tools are used effectively to support intentional teaching and learning rather than simply adopting technology without clear purpose. Let's see, our first step actually in the AI was we did send out a meeting to staff to ensure that there is safety amongst our students for the staff and the district as far as privacy and protections and legal considerations. The team will continue to meet and develop this plan. I will keep the board updated on how we maneuver these steps to implement AI. Intentionally trying to provide some PD for staff to make sure that AI is impactful for all. Allison and I met with Jordan and Elise from Baird to review the district's financial outlook and to receive their expert perspective on potential strategies that could provide relief for taxpayers while maintaining our stability. Continuing to review enrollment trends, staffing projections, and insurance planning. I participated in a Wisconsin Department of Transportation meeting about the proposed improvement project for Wisconsin 131, which is from Reedstone to Viola. It includes a section of the roadway right near Kickapoo High School. The project is currently planned to include resurfacing the roadway, replacing bridge structures over the Kickapoo River, upgrading some guardrails and curb ramps, and realigning the curve south of the high school to improve safety. The project is currently scheduled for construction around 2029, 2030, depending on the funding. So I'll keep you up to date as I understand more from that as well. Then I had a letter from Kujak Orthodontics out of Alaska, and they had some of our students, their clients, write messages for teachers. And out of those teachers, they sent me what the students had written about why they appreciated them. And they will go into a drawing to receive a gift and a $100 gift card to use for their class. So grateful for Kujak Orthodontics. And I think that's all I had today. Unless there are any questions.
It is really long. We had opera for the young. Catherine sets that up. Kid participated. Saw some of you guys there. It was pretty cool. I think we do. She does it every 2 years. I know when she does it because she comes in, I have to sign for it. Jan Malfi did the Olympic Treat Across America thing. Kids read a lot of minutes. Jen also made a mistake because she left the whole preschool together, so the preschool won, but there's twice as many kids in there because we don't split them, but somebody should have filed a formal protest, but nobody did. Booked for breakfast, well attended. I gave a tour on Friday for 2 new second graders that will be joining us next year as third graders, so that's a plus. Next Monday, I signed us up for a free systems perspective thing to look at how we do math, kind of like we did with behaviors. That's almost 3 years ago now. With Matt Renwick from CISA. So we're going to use the same systems lens that we use for reading and math to make sure that everything is, that how we're looking at our instruction and our interventions and our tier 1 and tier 2 and 3 all make sense, because our next step is the stuff we're working on in math. The Act 20 spring window for assessment starts on the 30th. Forward exam comes right after Easter. Summer school, we have a bunch of people signed up for middle school and high school again classes, and I'll share those with you. We actually had, I think, more middle school kids in the building last year than we had almost had elementary kids. And thank you, Act 20. And there, as part of summer school, Act 20 has, this isn't well defined, but you're supposed to have intensive summer school reading intervention for kids who are on a personal reading plan. Of course, it's an unfunded mandate. And I wasn't exactly sure how we were going to do that, but Anna actually came to me a couple weeks, over a month ago now, and said, you know, if I could meet with 2 or 3 days a week with these kids who are on personal reading plans, she goes, I don't know if we would get farther ahead, but we wouldn't slide back. Because there were kids last year that left in May that were on lessons 72 of U-Fly, or 60, 30, and 50. And when they came back and started in the fall, they were back at 15 or 20. And Anna goes, I don't know if I can get them ahead, but I don't want to go back again. And Anna asked Cassidy, our new first grade teacher, and she would be interested. So the logistics of this are not easy to figure out, but I think we have a pretty good plan of how we might be able to do that just in the mornings, 2 or 3 days a week, and have kids get picked up and brought in, and then they would go home. And she wants Anna helped at the pool in Westby one summer, and Westby's got a really popular swim and read program where the kids come in and swim and then read. So they don't really think they're coming in to read, but they're coming in to read. If they get to go in the pool, and Anna's love with the pool, we're going to make that work. And Jeff thinks we can make it work. And Allison said we should be able to make it work. And the only person who's not 100% sure we can make it work yet is me, but we'll make it work. So we're going to see how that works. And there'll be more details after the Act 20 spring to see exactly which kids are in the most need, and we'll go from there. And it would be awesome. I think it would make a really, really impactful. It would be really, really impactful for some kids that really, really need it. Because there are some kids that go home on June 6th and they don't read anything until they come back on September 1st. And that would really help everything we're trying to do. So any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Give us an idea, what percent of our kids have what you call an individual reading program?
Personal reading plan, a lot less than last year. I can count them up for you.
No, I just kind of vague.
There are 6 kindergartners, there are 4 first graders. Second grade has 8, third grade has 7 or 8. There's more than that, but it's under third. Yeah, I can email you.
I just kind of was curious.
And then will they all come? No, that the form that I filled out, thank you, AI. It asks, and just name. And then the first question is, would you be interested in your child coming for instruction? Yes or no? And then the next question is, do they need to get picked up? And then my hope is we can kind of find out they'll all be in one place, but I know that's not going to work, but I think we can make it work. So Jeff said, he goes, we'll have people, and if we have, we'll figure it out. So. And then we'll go from there, and then we'll be able to count all of that as summer school. So that should help our ETFs. So, but yeah, the number is going down. I think I emailed the staff earlier this year in a celebration that it was like 23 or 24 kids that had personal reading plans last year don't have them this year. So we're going in the right direction, and there's not as many kindergartners, there's only 4 first graders, so the investment that you made in UFly and getting teachers trained has paid off.
Thank you.
All right, Sea Perch competition was last Friday, and out of, I think, 13 teams, we ended up 1, 2, and 3. So there'll be more information forthcoming, but that means we get a spot to go to the national trip again. So Beth Gander and Mackenzie Schwartz were the Sea Sisters, and they were the winning team with only 2 people. So, but again, we were 1, 2, and 3, which I think really says a lot about the program and things that happened. So, which is great. Like I said, more information to come with that. I think financially, they've had a lot of really nice donations the last couple of years, so they should be real good with that. Spring sports has started. Track actually started on Monday. Baseball, softball to come, which seems pretty crazy, especially for some of those kids that ended play on Saturday night and started on Monday. So, but things are rolling. We had Brady Ewing as a speaker today for the middle school, high school. I think things went really well. It was a neat opportunity for kids. It was pretty cool to see some of the middle school boys and stuff go up and want his autograph and sign autographs and stuff. So just being somebody local and having the experience that he did, I think was really good. His message was basically about purpose, process, and progress. So I think that was good and was well received by the kids. Just a heads up, Start College Now applications are due. This year with 50 kids in the senior class and an extremely large percentage of those kids of high achieving 4-year type college kids, we will have more courses and kids looking to take courses than a typical year. So just want to give you a heads up on that. The hope is that a number of them will take courses that will be youth apprenticeship type courses, so it will be paid for. But just kind of want to give you a heads up. We haven't had a class of 50, and we really haven't had a class of 50 that this many kids will be taking college courses. So just want you to be aware of that. And the last one, ACT coming up. We've been doing ACT preps, which I think have been going well. The actual test is on March 24th, so that will come. And the last one, just to not forget, I think just wanted to give a shout out to Mrs. Sam Gary with 30 some years and just the dedication in the district and all the things that have happened, has done a phenomenal job. And I think for as many things that people know that Sam has done in the district, there's about 3 times more that people don't know that she has done. Changing the sign is one example. So just lots of things. So just a big shout out to her and thank you that she will be missed. So that's what I have. If anybody has any questions.
All right. Any questions? All right, we'll move on to the closed session. The state statute 19.851, section C, C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of a public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercising responsibility. And F, considering financial, medical, social, or personal histories or disciplinary data specific persons, preliminary considerations, or specific personal problems, or the investigation of charges against specific persons, except where paragraph B applies, which, if discussed in public, would likely have a substantial adverse effect upon the reputation of any persons referred to in such histories or data or involved in such problems or investigations. Purpose of tonight is the middle school track assistant coach staffing for the 26-27 year and the student discipline. And then I'll catch you.
Okay.
See you, ladies. Thank you for coming. We have a motion by Earl, second by Jen. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
They know the discipline.
Right.
I'll make a motion to approve Megan Schul as middle school assistant coach.
For track, right?
Correct, yeah.
Motion, a second. Yeah, seconds. Motion by Earl, second by Janet. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
To adjourn.
Just to adjourn.
That was a motion. I just.
All right, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.